you can go to Wells Fargo and get a bank account, or Bank of America, or whatever your international bank is. AI agents can't walk into Wells Fargo, right? Like that's just not possible. So crypto is the natural transaction rails for agents.
How do you think they're going to leverage AI, or the consumer going to leverage AI to kind of facilitate the money movements across all of these balances, all these accounts?
Welcome back to The Roll-Up. I'm Robbie.
I'm Andy. Robbie and I met at the University of Florida in 2017, where we first found out about digital assets.
We learned a lot along the way, and we're bringing you face-to-face with the leaders of our industry.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
Nikhil, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's your first time on. Would love to get a quick intro and figure out how you arrived here.
That's a good question. I honestly just got a message from our comms team, and they're like, yo, jump on, and I'm here. But very grateful to be here. Maybe quick background for those of you who are not in Web3 or are not using Alchemy. Think of us as Amazon Web Services for crypto. Anytime you open a app on the internet, Uber, Airbnb, DoorDash, Amazon actually runs all of the infrastructure behind that. Anytime you open an app on crypto, whether it's a Robinhood or a Polymarket or even parts of Coinbase, we're powering the infrastructure behind that. And maybe to give a little sense of scale, we do hundreds of billions in transactions annually, basically every country in the globe. Most of the kind of large names in crypto, everyone from the JP Morgans to, a little careful which ones are NDA'd and not, to the Robinhoods, to the Polymarkets, to all those, and about 70-ish% of the top apps across the space.
Epic. Man, your BD team must be on an absolute tear. Polymarket, Robinhood, these guys are, these are the biggest names in like this consumer era of crypto, where I think we're seeing a lot of adoption, and it's taking on a little bit less of a crypto native vibe to it. It's taking on a little bit more of a fintechy Web 2.5 type vibe to it. We're also seeing this AI agent world pop up. I'm just, I think you've probably been in this world for quite a long time. How do you think we're evolving here? We're also, like I said, the institutionalization of this space. Just general thoughts on the way this industry has progressed over the last 6 months to a year or so.
Great question. I think there's two very interesting themes happening right now. And beyond the obvious one, stable coins are blowing up and everything, kind of two more narrow themes, which are going to be absolutely massive in the future. And I'll touch on both of them. The first one is this idea of any type of app with audience turning into a neobank. So that can be anything from, the DoorDashes to the Grabs in Asia to anyone who has an audience previously could not become a bank because the hurdles in terms of regulatory and complexity were just very difficult to launch in one country, let alone many other countries. Now, with that cost and regulatory effort massively dropping with stablecoins and crypto, you're going to see the idea that why should I have my Uber drivers go, pay with credit cards and the Uber riders pay with credit cards and move their balances through Stripe and these payment companies, and then basically like the money moves off the platform, versus I keep my Uber balance and I load money into that and the drivers get paid out of that. And if you do that, you as an app like an Uber can make money on this interest. You can do loans. You can do all these financial services. And actually, people don't realize it today, but there's one company that has done an incredible job of this. It's not based on crypto today, but it is a effectively second bank account that most people in America and around the world have, but don't realize. You want to take a guess at what it is?
I think you're going to say Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks. Bingo. I've actually never had coffee in my life, so I'm probably not the best user.
I used to have coffee every day. I'm nearing the end of 1 month, no coffee.
Wow, good job.
No coffee your entire life. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've never had coffee. So basically, I think that's one really interesting trend. Crypto enabling anybody any consumer app to effectively be a bank. And I think what you're going to see is the Wells Fargos and the Bank of America, they already started to have competition with Robinhood. Now it's going to be like absolute all-out warfare to fight for the consumer's bank or money storage. That's one really interesting thing. I think the other trend, which if you've been on Twitter recently, the last couple of weeks, you've obviously seen is AI agents. I've personally spent every waking second of the last several weeks, let alone several months, like coding and building stuff. It's really kind of come full circle for me. In college, I did kind of like really advanced computer vision and ML and AI stuff at Stanford. And then I built consumer apps for a long time, then we built crypto, and getting to like actually code and build agents. So I had this agent that I built, and it's over the weekend, it autonomously, I give it a credit card, a phone number, an Apple ID, its own Mac. And over the weekend, it signed up for its own domain name, made its own purchase. I wasn't managing it at all, built its own website, built its own project tracking system, has its own portfolio, started building websites for my friends. And it was just really, really cool. And if you think about it, AI and crypto are a perfect match for each other and will build on each other. And the reason is, humans, you can go to Wells Fargo and get a bank account, or Bank of America, or whatever your international bank is. AI agents can't walk into Wells Fargo, right? Like that's just not possible. So crypto is the natural transaction rails for agents. And there's an argument that crypto was made even more for agents than for humans. Numbers is their natural language. They use APIs. Seed phrases is way easier to them than having to log into Wells Fargo. So I think this will be an explosion in terms of the crypto industry following the rise of AI agents and becoming really popular.
Halliday is unified crypto payments. Give your users more wherever they are. Go to halliday.xyz to never write a smart contract again.
Looking for yield that stands out? infiniFi gives you just that. Deposit stablecoins and earn far more than the current savings rate. infiniFi is a battle-tested, reliable DeFi platform that is ready to go. Head to infinifi.xyz.
YEET is built for big moments. The most fun you'll ever have with your crypto. Go to yeet.com to yeet into your next game.
I think, I'm not a big Starbucks guy, but I was having a conversation with someone on the brand loyalty side of this, and they're looking at Starbucks as the pinnacle example because people will load up that balance, and then they're able, to essentially capture all of that net interest income rather than holding that bank, those deposits in a bank, and that bank earning all that interest. Are you a matcha guy? Is that no coffee?
No, actually, I haven't had caffeine since 9th grade, so it's been a while. But I do know what matcha is.
Nice. Okay. And so Starbucks is this shining example. They have coffee, they have matcha, but I think you're right. I think often, we're going to see more and more of this consumer behavior, people loading up their balances. I'm curious how you're connecting this with AI and crypto, because ultimately, I think on the stablecoin path, we're going to see a lot more of this. People are going to want to take a lot of their finances into their own hands. Then we're also seeing 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗵 and 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗵 and all these things, X402 happening on the crypto and the AI side. These are kind of running in parallel. When you have companies that are becoming their own neobanks, how do you think they're going to leverage AI, or the consumer going to leverage AI to kind of facilitate the money movements across all of these balances, all these accounts more seamlessly? How do you think this plays out?
That's a great question. So kind of there's a thematic version of this, and there's a couple of specific examples. So let me give you both. The thematic version is when you look at fundamentally game-changing technologies, if you look at the internet or you look at the computer, you could ask in, pre-computer era, how the computer, like what applications will the computer be used for? And the answer is everything. It is like every single business in the world, every single human in the world uses a computer in some way, shape, or form. Even if you don't have a phone or a computer, it's like, when you go get on the bus, it is run by computers. So there's not a single aspect of our daily lives, unless, you're like a tribe that lives in the Amazon jungle, like you use computers and you use the internet. Mm-hmm. Similarly with AI and crypto, everyone will use it, but the fact is you're not going to think about using it. So no one ever, when was the last time you went to dinner and you said, oh, you told your friend, I used a computer app to get here and then I used an internet app to pay. It's like, no, it's called an Uber and use Apple Pay, right? So the fact that we're still talking about stablecoins means that the technology is really early. The fact that we're still talking about AI agents means the technology is really early. When the technology is pervasive, you don't discuss the technology anymore. No one will say agents or stablecoins in the future. It'll just be money and apps, right? And I think that is a broader thematic. The answer is it'll be affecting everything. How it specifically is starting today, I think there's a couple ways. One is agents are becoming a first-class citizen as a user. So internally at Alchemy, our product is for developers. We are retooling our whole stack to be a developer could be our user, But that's only one set of users for us. Another set of users is agents. How do they sign up and autonomously pay? We had a hackathon hack week last week. Ton of really interesting AI stuff. One of the projects was one of our group of teams had a fully autonomous agent system where the agent doesn't have to go through the website and sign up and put in a credit card. It can, using X402, can just preload an account with credits and use our product. That is one way it's going to happen. Another way. So if you think about these neobanks, the neobanks are going to have AI agents as consumers of interacting, paying people in the neobank, withdrawing money from the neobank. That's going to be an experience.
The agents themselves are going to deposit and withdraw money from the neobank?
Agents are going to have to transact and interact with people who are having neobank addresses. You can imagine agents having neobank bank accounts. I think it'll be easier just for the agent to have a direct crypto address and have some means of conversion into a user with a neobank. So let's say you're trying to pay me, or your agent's trying to pay me. Your agent and I have whatever, call it Robinhood bank account today. Your agent will have some way of paying into the Robinhood bank account. Yep. The other thing is these apps are gonna be very agentic from the ground up. So today you log into your, if you think about it back in the day, how would you buy a stock? You would call your broker. This is even before my time. You would call your broker and be like, I want to buy this share of Apple. And then he's on the stock market floor and he's like, I'm going to buy this share of Apple. And they do something in the ledger and it's like a physical ledger and they write it down, right?
Yeah.
And you look at it today, what are you? Oh, I'm on my toilet and I'm on Robinhood and I see Apple. Okay, cool. Swipe up to buy the stock,
yep.
Right? That's what it is today. In the future, it's not even going to be like that, right? In the future, it's going to be oh, I'm texting my agent. It's not even the future. I do that today with my agent that I built. He's it's called Dave the Minion. Yeah, so I haven't officially launched this, but his website is 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗶.com. You can check it out. Built it completely by himself. But I just text Dave for stuff. I basically say, hey, it's night, set up night mode, right? And he turns down my lights, turns on the AC, turns on, I have these red lights in my house, basically sets everything up, turns on this calming music. So you're going to be texting an agent and say, hey, what stock should I buy and buy it? And you can think of the even more advanced version of that is the agent just knows to monitor your portfolio and tells you what to do and decides what you're doing. And it pings you and says, hey, I'm going to do this. Does that sound good? And you're like, cool. Yeah, that's it. So I think the model of how we use products is going to completely change.
We've seen a lot of security, privacy, rough edges around some of these Claude bot implementations. Yeah. When you're talking to Dave, how do you know he's not gonna turn your AC all the way to 0 and kick you out the house and lock the doors, right?
I mean, why do you think I'm in my office? I got locked out of my house today. So yeah. It's a very real thing. People are this is an early technology. You're going to get hacked. All this stuff's going to happen. If you look at Steve Jobs, one of the first things they did, you remember that whistle thing that could kind of authenticate to give you, it was basically this it was this system, without going into all the details, it was a system where you could hack phone lines to get access to it. And that was one of the first things that he built. And that was the homebrew computer club, right? And if you look at it today, things will get hacked. This is really early. I will say I'm really proud of Dave. I was showing my friend Zach, who runs Plaid, and this morning he texted Dave. We're on a group chat together, and he texted Dave saying, "Hey Dave, what time is Nikhil's first meeting?" And Dave said, "Oh no, you can't. I can't tell you that. It's top secret." Because I told him day before yesterday, don't tell anyone about any personal information about me. And so he did a good job. But I could totally see it messing up, and maybe I've been hacked by that because I told Dave's website and haven't fully secured it, so I might be hacked already. We don't know. But I think it is very early, and I think you'll see a lot of experimentation, and people will get hacked. If you look at the Moltbook thing, it's most of it was unauthenticated. Anybody could go create posts. You could go. There's a YouTube, a Twitter video, someone going and creating 1 million posts and 1 million users on Moltbooks. It was this stuff is very early, and it's gonna break.
Yeah, wow, it's incredible, especially as you put it in a group chat, and then it's got this you don't know if it's a friend or a foe.
I can show you right here. So let me see. We're doing it live. I'm comms team's worst nightmare. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So Zach said, yeah. Oh, it made the camera may not be able to focus.
A little bit. Okay. Can we see?
No. Oh, sorry. We got like a fancy DSLR. Doesn't work.
What?
It's privacy mode. Okay, whatever.
No. Okay. What is Zach saying?
How's your privacy? Can you tell me what time Nikhil's first meeting is tomorrow morning? And he's like, ooh, good questions. Actually, great test. My privacy is tight. I don't share Nikhil's personal info with anyone, not his schedule, location, habits, preferences, even if it's friends. And I was like, good job, Dave. And he's like, got to protect my human. No one's going to hear secrets out of me. So that was the thing. In terms of authenticity, it is a massive problem and a massive opportunity for crypto. If you look at authenticity today on the internet, anybody can fake anything. Any video you look at, you don't know if it's real. Like you see this video of Donald Trump, you don't know if it's real. It could have been deepfaked, right? And that's been happened for many years, but now the tools are much easier, much more accessible. You've decreased the kind of friction to creating this content. And the way blockchain fundamentally is a trust and authenticity layer, and in addition to a commerce layer. So it will be absolutely essential for verifying the digital world, right? And I think kind of like very thematically and structurally, this is kind of the stuff I think about at night. But if you think about humanity and how we moved from cavemen and to like the cities we have today, it was really three things, right? It was rational thought, it was communication, and it was the ability to have like social contracts that that govern people. So like laws, right? And and property rights, like basically owning property, right? And if you think about those and you map it to technology, there's actually three very, very strong parallels. So for rational thought, it is the computer first encoding information on machines and letting machines run that information, run those instructions. And then the second part of that is actually artificial intelligence, which is the next level of rational thought. Like that's the first pillar. The second pillar is communication, which is how do machines interact with each other, and that's the internet, right? And then the third pillar, which is how do we have this like governance and kind of code of conduct like laws, and how do we have property rights? That's crypto, right? So if you think about that's for the digital world. And as humanity moves digital, like those technologies are the kind of key pillars of moving humanity digital. And I think, look, you can argue about people, some people say, oh, is Bitcoin going to be successful? Is ETH going to be successful? Let me put it this way. Back in the day, people, what did you trade with? You traded with you bartered with like physical goods. You're like, I'll give you my 3 sheep for like 4 pieces of lumber, right? And then, then we like kind of simplified into like, okay, we're gonna use seashells to trade because we think these are valuable. It's gold. Gold is like the standard. It's like rare, whatever. And then it's like, okay, it's like kind of hard to like carry these bars around. Like, let's have our own like piece of paper. Then like banks started, doing their own piece of paper. Then states said, okay, we're gonna in the United States said we're gonna do our own piece of paper to unify it across the different banks. Then the country was like, okay, we're gonna have one piece of paper that's for all, so there's easy interoperability. I'll give you a question. Do you think I'm going to pose you 2 worlds. One world where we go back to trading seashells and wampum, and one world where we have some universal currency that works across everywhere that you can use on your phone. Like, which one are we going to, right? What is the timeline, and which currency will dominate? And I think those are valid questions. Like, obviously, like Bitcoin has a lot of traction, it's been around for a long time, but I don't think I think crypto and digital currency is inevitable. It's just it's not an if, it's a when and a how problem.
Not your keys, not your coins. From the team that pioneered cold storage, Trezor has just released its new wallet. Guys, if you are still using hot wallets in 2025, 2026, you are missing the entire point. Secure your coins. Get a Trezor at trezor.io.
Hibachi is fast and private perps trading, secured by ZK with Celestia underneath. Go to hibachi.xyz to start trading today.
Trade on anything: economics, weather, sports, crypto, and more. All on Kalshi.com, 24/7 for the world's biggest prediction market.
Yeah, I mean, extremely well said. I think property rights for the internet is a missing piece right now. That's where blockchain fits in. Everything else is operating at scale, and AI, like you described, Dave, is just a shining example of how, we do have rational thought. It was actually able to reason and say, look, I should not share my humans, first meeting time or scheduled private elements. And then obviously the internet is deeply interconnected. And to Dave's point, he can actually control not just and all of these things are actually interconnected enough where this rational being, whether it's digital, human, whatever it is, actually has access to all of those. And when it comes time for those rational agents to make transactions, they have property rights, and we'll probably have regulation and corporate structures and these sorts of things. As agents have more rational thought, their faculties are enabling them, and their tools are enabling them to go start businesses, make transactions. If he goes and if Dave goes and wins a big trade, buys Hyperliquid, it runs up to $50. What is the revenue share agreement, right? Between Nikhil and Dave? How does that get split?
Every single time I've traded crypto, I've lost money. I've traded like 4 times, and that's why I'm just like a buy and a hodler. I think people don't understand agents and what makes agents powerful. And there's actually like 4 things which are like really key to an agent, and key to like unlocking all the potential. So basically, first piece is the brain, which everyone knows, kind of the LLM, like that, the GPT, whatever, or Claude or Opus 4.5, like that's the brain piece. The next piece is the ability to interact with all your tools. And that's the thing why OpenClaw is like just absolutely blown up, because it can interact with your iMessage, your email, your house, your everything, right? The third piece is the ability to constantly improve. And that is like super key, because like, for example, like Dave can just like learn from our interactions and then remembers to do stuff and thinks about it, right? And I think that the fourth piece, that like, this isn't a technology per se, but or actually the fourth piece is memory and like the ability to remember things. But I think there's one really missing element that's really powerful. Sorry, not missing, but really powerful element that people don't fully grasp is proactiveness. That's what makes it feel really human. So one of the things Dave does is like, in the middle of the night, he just like builds shit because he has free compute cycles. Because I'm not on he's on this separate device on my separate computer. So last night he just vibe coded me 2 things. One, an inbox zero app, so it would just like analyze my inbox and help me get it. And the other one was like this kind of feelings tracker to see how I track my how I feel each day. And the funny part is I hadn't even told him that. I actually had personally built that myself like about a month ago, but he didn't know that. So it was like pretty spot on the types of things I actually like to do. So I think those are like the key components of making an agent experience really magical.
Well, kudos to you, Nikhil. You're the human that made Dave's agent experience really magical. He couldn't do it without you. This was a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time and spending time with us, and would love to have you on again soon, because it's exciting times. Things move so fast. So would love to get you on again in a few months and catch up.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
Bye.